Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to explain the fundamental difference between AI embeddings and vector databases. Most engineers treat these as the same thing, but that is a massive mistake. If you do not understand the distinction, your retrieval pipeline will either be too slow for production or completely inaccurate. Here is why this matters. One is a mathematical representation, while the other is an operational storage system. So why can we not just stick to traditional databases for AI search? The problem is lexical mismatch. If a user asks a question using different words than what is written in your document, the search fails. Traditional databases only care about exact string matches. They cannot understand that a flat tire and a punctured wheel mean the same thing. To solve this, we move to semantic search. But once you start representing text as dense vectors, your standard SQL database becomes an operational bottleneck. It is not built for the math required to find similar vectors across a high-dimensional space. So what is an AI embedding exactly? Imagine you are building a massive library. Instead of organizing books by title, you organize them by the actual meaning of their content. An embedding model takes a piece of text and converts it into a long list of floating point numbers. This list is a vector. If you have two sentences with similar meanings, the vector math ensures they exist in the same neighborhood of that mathematical space. It is like mapping concepts onto a globe where proximity equals semantic similarity. Building on what we just saw, let us look at the architecture. You start with raw text. This text is fed into an embedding model like OpenAI's text embedding, ADA, or an open source model from Hugging Face. That model outputs a vector. This vector is then stored inside a vector database. When a user sends a query, the same model converts that query into a vector. The database then performs a mathematical calculation called cosine similarity to find the vectors that are closest to the query vector. This is how you retrieve the right information for an AI model to answer a question. Before we dive into the code, let us make sure you are ready. You need a modern operating system like Ubuntu or Mac OS. Ensure you have Python version 3.9 or newer installed. You can check this by running Python 3-, version in your terminal. You will also need an OpenAI API key or a local model ready to go. Finally, make sure you have Docker Desktop running as we will use it to spin up our vector database. Open your terminal by searching for terminal on macOS or pressing the Windows key and typing CMD on Windows. Perfect. Let us move on to the setup. We are going to use Qdrant for this demo. It is a production-ready vector database. On line 1, we map the local ports to the container ports. Line 2 maps a local directory for persistence, so your data survives a restart. Line 3 specifies the image. Run this in your terminal. You will see Qdrant start up and listen on port 6033. This is where our API will live. If you see the server started message on port 6333, you are good to go. This confirms the database is running and ready to accept vector data. If you see a permission error, ensure your Docker daemon has access to your local folder. Now, let us write some Python code to interact with this. On line 4, we load a lightweight model called mini-LM. This model handles the heavy lifting of turning text into numbers. Line 5 connects our Python script to the Qdrant instance we just started. Line 8 is the core concept. We encode our text into a 384-dimensional vector. Finally, line 10 sends that vector to the database. We call this operation an upsert. It is safe to run multiple times with the same ID. This output confirms the vector was successfully indexed. The operation status is completed, meaning the database has stored our embedding. Right now, this vector is searchable by math, not by keyword. That is the key point. In a production environment, you never just search for one item. Notice how line 6 uses a limit of 3. This is crucial. You want the top 3 most semantically similar matches for your query. The model encodes the user's input, and the client performs a vector search. This logic forms the heart of a retrieval augmented generation system. The score of 0.89 tells you how confident the database is. A higher score means the embedding of your query is closer to the embedding of the document. This is how you verify if your search is accurate. A common mistake occurs when your embedding model dimensions do not match your database configuration. This happens if you switch from a model like Mini-LM, which uses 384 dimensions, to OpenAI's Ada model, which uses 1536. The fix is simple. You must recreate your collection with the correct dimension size. Always verify the output size of your model before initializing your database collection. Let me give you a real-world example. An edtech platform serving 2 million students had a massive support burden. Their legacy FAQ system relied on keyword search. When students asked questions in their own words, the search failed constantly. By migrating their documents to a vector database, they stopped relying on keyword matches. The system now understands intent. The result was a 90% semantic match rate and a 40% drop in support tickets. This is the power of combining embeddings with a dedicated vector store. So when should you actually use these tools? Use a vector database when you are dealing with millions of records and need sub-second semantic search. This is the gold standard for retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, architectures. However, do not over-engineer. If you only have a few hundred documents and need exact matches, standard SQL is perfectly fine. A vector database adds operational overhead, so only introduce it when the complexity of your data requires it. Use these criteria to decide if this tool is right for your situation. Let us recap what we learned. Embeddings are just the numerical representation of meaning. The vector database is the engine that stores and retrieves those numbers at scale. Remember that similarity is calculated using cosine distance. Always check your vector dimensions before indexing data. And finally, use these tools only when your application demands semantic understanding rather than simple string matching. I believe this video will definitely be a useful video. If you liked the video, please do like and hype the video. Also share it with your friends and groups. It may be useful to somebody else. If you have any doubts or any requests, please let me know in the comments. Make sure you have subscribed to stay updated for our regular videos. Join our WhatsApp community using the link in the description because we share more knowledgeable content every day. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next video.